titanium cuffs had dangled. Unbelievable. He'd ripped them right out of the wall. A dark brow arched. "No, just the right angle to pull. You don't install restraints without knowing how to get out of them. Only took a moment, and by then I had you on your back, just like I said I would." If I still had a heartbeat, it would be racing by now, but I'd lost that, for the most part, when I'd changed from a half-breed into a full vampire several months ago. My eyes turned bright green as fangs slid out of my teeth. Show off. He leaned down until our faces were only an inch apart. "Now, my lovely captive, with you trapped beneath me, what's to stop me from having my vile way with you?" The knife I still held dropped from my hand as I wrapped my arms around his neck. Nothing, I hope. Bones, my vampire husband, gave a low, sinful laugh. "That's the answer I wanted to hear, kitten." Being underground in a cave wouldn't make most people's favorite last-minute accommodations list, but it was heaven to me. The only sounds were the smooth motions of the underground river. It was a relief not to have to tune out the background noise from countless conversations that were all too audible with a vampire's hearing. If it were up to me, Bones and I would stay here for weeks. But taking a time out from our lives to get some R&R wasn't in the cards for us. I'd learned that the hard way. What I'd also learned was to grab moments of escape when we could. Hence the stopover to rest the dawn away in the same cave in which, 7 years ago, my relationship with Bones began. Back then it had been me in the chains, convinced I was about to be eaten by an evil bloodsucker. Instead, I ended up marrying that bloodsucker. Helsing, my cat, gave a plaintive meow from the corner of the small enclave, scratching at the stone slab that served as a door. "You don't get to explore," I told him. "You'd get lost." He meowed again but began to lick his paw, giving me baleful looks the whole time. He still hadn't forgiven me for leaving him with a house-sitter for months. I didn't blame Helsing for his grudge, but if he'd stayed with me, he might have gotten killed. Several people had. "Rested enough, love?" Bones asked. "Mm-hmm," I murmured, stretching. I'd fallen asleep shortly after dawn, but it hadn't been the instant unconsciousness that had plagued me for my first weeks as a vampire. I'd grown out of that, to my relief. "We'd best get moving, then," he said. Right, we had places to be, as usual. "The only thing I regret about stopping to catch some sleep here is the lack of a normal shower," I sighed. Bones snorted in amusement. "Come now, the river's very refreshing." At 40 degrees, refreshing was a kind way to describe the cave's version of indoor plumbing. Bones moved the stone slab out of the way so we could exit the alcove, putting it back before my kitty could leap out, too. "The trick is to jump in," he went on. "Taking it slow doesn't make it any easier." I swallowed a laugh. That advice could also apply to navigating the undead world. All right, one leap into a freezing river coming up. Then it was time to get to the real reason why we'd come to Ohio. With luck, nothing was going on in my old home state except for a few random cases of fang-on-fang violence. I doubted it, but I could still hope. The afternoon sun was still high in the sky by the time Bones and I arrived at the fountain of the Easton Mall. Well, a street away from it. We had to make sure that this wasn't a trap. Bones and I had a lot of enemies. 2 recent vampire wars will do that, not to mention our former professions. I didn't sense any excessive supernatural energy except a smaller tingle of power in the air that denoted 1, maybe 2 younger vampires mixed in with the crowd. Still, neither Bones nor I moved until a hazy, indistinct form flew across the parking lot and into our rental car. "2 vampires are at the fountain," Fabian, the ghost I'd sort of adopted, stated. His outline solidified until he looked more like a person and less like a thick particle cloud. "They didn't notice me." Even though that was the goal, Fabian sounded almost sad at that last part. Unlike humans, vampires could see ghosts, but by and large they ignored them. Being dead didn't mean people automatically got along. "Thanks, mate," Bones said. "Keep a lookout to make certain they don't have any